paranoia that Mary Bell is still messing with me, right? I ain't heard from her since she told me all this crap. Now, how would you like it if your ex-girlfriend told you all this crap but never confirmed or denied with you and then sailed off into the sunset? Like you would know what the hell's going on with her, right? No one would like that, no. If you're a normal male. Unless she ain't a man at all and is transgender, then not about that. And see, that's what I would explain the doctor to, or anyone who don't understand why I'm trying to find a wife and not a husband, woman, wannabe, right? I'm trying to explain to all transgender people, I don't care if you're transgender, that's not the problem, right? I still don't hit you like you're a man, right? I know you're wanting to be a woman, but weren't born one, right? I even understand that. But if you don't hear me that I want a real woman, you're still trying to be something you can't be to be. Not here, not here. Can you make yourself into a woman like Jesus can? No. Well, then you're not Jesus, right? You're not doing it how Jesus will do it, or you can become a woman. You understand that too, right? If you were meant to be a woman by God, you're saying God can't make you into a real woman by DNA as well? When it made Adam and Eve, right? Then you're denying God's power. And you don't really want to be a woman because you might have to have children with a man too, right? So then you're being a total eunuch, right? Meaning you don't want children if you're a male or a female, right? If I want children, you're not what I want in a partner, right? At all. So you're not hearing me still. I understand what you want, but it's not me, right? And you're trying to change something that happened one time, maybe, right? Late at night, where I'm confused and not sure why the child's in there with me, possibly, as real child molestation, where you molested as a child yourself by a family member who you know shouldn't have done that, like a granddad. That's what usually causes it. A fucked up grandparent or a fucked up parent, right? See, granddad got drunk, and grandson wandered into the tent and started drinking with him. And they were both found naked in the tent by the dad, right? Who told his two brothers. That's why Canaan was cursed and not him, idiot. But anyone can also do that, right? They both got drunk. They both didn't know what they were doing. And they both wouldn't have done otherwise. Now, the daughters, though, knew about it. That's another thing. That getting their dad drunk and sleeping with him will get them pregnant, right? That's a different train of thought there. But there again, now the dads are looking at the daughters like they're not their daughters because they look different, right? Which could be a DNA thing, right? I know. I know. So I don't even know what your real problem is. What I'm trying to do is help you work through it. Whatever it is you don't want me to talk about with you while we're alone. Even as Dr. Chu herself, right? And I'm confused that you look like Mary Bell to me. I know. Or the girl of my dreams to me, right? I'm trying to explain something to you about the relationship I had with her. And why, again, I don't know. If you are a real woman, I wouldn't have a problem being with you either. But like I said, you're my doctor too, so that's not even the point, right? Now, I still, when we're talking about can I have sex or not, still, right? I can, but I can't prove it to you because you're my doctor, right? But I can't do it with a female. But again, you're also married with 3 daughters, I guess. Right? Again. And again, right? So, it's just something I might would say to her or not, right? Now, what I'm trying to figure out, though, right, is, did she take advantage of me, right? Like maybe Molly did or someone else did, right? And I don't remember everything, right? Because she's still the one in authority, right, over me, right? And like a male doctor doing that to a female doctor is still the same thing, right? You can't do that either, right? But I'm not complaining. I don't know what happened, so I'm not saying nothing happened either, right? I know, right. I don't want nobody to get in trouble either for what seemed to be a quicker time than an hour, right? But she was trying to cut it short anyway. Though after that, she said she didn't want to see me. She wanted to see me after a week. And then she said 6 weeks. So went and checked something. Right, came back. Right, and then she said 3 months. Right, and then she set the appointment in November, December, January. Which, like I said, that's weird too. Right. Right. Why did she say 1 minute a week later? Then 6 weeks and then 3 months. What do we do? What do we do? Is that what she really don't want me to remember, right? I don't know. But whatever it is, like I said, the hour seemed quicker than I remember, right? Which is temporary amnesia throughout the thing, right? And I don't know why it happened again with her, but she would again both be someone I was interested, but not sure she's want to be with me, but that, right? I'm not saying I'll be ashamed to be with you for married or not. And again, but it's still your choice, not mine. And like I said, right, I wouldn't rat you out, but right, there again, right, I'm an honest person, right? And that's called what? Telling both sides of the coin, right? True. That's still telling you the truth, right? And not lying. I'm not lying. But you're still lying and not telling me something I need to know, right? Whether it's Mary Bell, Daphne, Sheena, right? Whoever, right? You cease talking to me all of a sudden, and I don't know why. And then after that, all I can do is guess what happened, right? And tell you why I was confused and explain it to you, right? What was going on, right? And why I did that, but that I was, taught something different too, right? Like the song says, if the woman don't want sex, she's supposed to tell you up front she don't want sex and won't even let you kiss her if she don't want sex. But you taught that too? And again, if you let me kiss you, that's going to lead to me touching your body from head to toe, right? Rubbing your butt, rubbing your pussy, rubbing your tits, so on and so forth through your clothes. Now, my job, if I'm enticing you, is to get you naked. To put my penis in your pussy. If I'm trying to seduce you. Right. And I ain't hiding what I'm doing if I'm kissing you and you let me kiss you. I ain't hiding what I'm doing if I'm, going down your body again. This time you let me get you naked, right? And I ain't hiding what I'm doing if I pull down your panties and I pull down my shorts too, right? To have sex with you even if you close your eyes, right? You're not hiding nothing you're doing. I'm not hiding nothing I do. But now if you're turning a blind eye, right? Because you trust me to do what you want me to do to you, you're still failing to communicate one vital thing to me before we do it, right? That you don't want the sex part, just the oral, right? So that's where you're failing to communicate to me, Sheena, right? For example, the problem that seems to be with me and you is we have a communication problem about premarital sex because of the church today, right? Which is men, the fathers, playing Lord over the daughters who they can be married, right? Like the song Root, right? Well, I thought you and your dad had a falling out and you were trying to date someone on your own. Am I wrong about that, though? No. And I thought you were mature enough to know I wanted to make love to you, not just leave you, right? Either. Now, then I gotta ask you, well, were you getting two sets of letters from me? Like one was handwritten, one was typed, right? The type could have been from my shitmates trying to sabotage our relationship, right? And I'm saying that to any girl, I'm trying to write to you both. When I'm trying to write certain women, that's because you're creating some kind of void in our relationship, right? To where I think I need to explain something to you. It's like, the song by, what's her name? I know. Saying I love you, right? That's not always about sex either, right? It's about communication, like writing me letters, right? And me writing back to you. Now, if the sabotage means you are writing me letters, then I'm not getting the letters you're writing to me, right? It's what I'm trying to tell you too. Well, then I'm not getting the letters from you, right? Why don't you understand that too? I can't control the bell if the saboteurs are stealing your letters to me, right? And changing my letters to you and typing them up. I don't write typed up letters at all. Oh, no. Not to my girlfriend. No. To a girlfriend, you want something personal, right? You ain't ever heard of that? You write a love letter in handwriting to your girlfriend, even if you got sloppy writing, because that's more personal, right? You type up a letter to a business, right? Where you taught that too, or to write a book, which would be both fictional or non-fictional, right? Tits. Now, like I tell you, if my shipmates are asking me if I'm gay and I say no and they won't train me, what does that seem like to you? I want you to be gay with them, but you won't, but I won't. And I keep telling them that. But that don't mean they're not trying to sabotage me in the meantime. Even if I'm dating women, right? And telling them I got a girlfriend now. You're not talking me for dating. And then they're saying, well, now you're a fat train, right? Sounds like to me, right? You still can't get a woman. I don't know that. You don't think they'll have sympathy on me? Right. If I tell them the whole story, I might want to still sleep with me, right? Even if you're interfering with me, I'm telling them that too, right? And now I'm really a straight guy, but I'm having a lot of amnesia, maybe because of you, right? Maybe you're doing that too, or causing someone to overreact to me because they're not listening. They're the violent person there when I'm talking about self-defense. And they still don't understand, right? That even if you're the weaker vessel and are a male, right, trying to be a female, which is what I keep telling her to do, you're trying to be a woman, but I know you're not, but I'm still not going to beat you up like you're a man, right? But you're still not a woman either to me, right? You're a confused, to me, transgender person trying to get with a straight man who wants a woman, right? That ain't going to play out for you, right? No matter how much you try. Even if you're 100 years old, I'm still not going to have sex with you if I think you're transgender. Don't lie to me about that, right? Even if you're Mary Bell or whatever you call yourself, right? You're lying, you're acting weird, and I see it all, right? And sometimes, like I told you, another problem is some people look alike. So, like I said, if I got upset with Dr. Chu, it's because, again, right? Mm-hmm. She's doing something to make me feel nervous around her, right? And I'm not remembering the whole conversation of over an hour. It seems like less than an hour, though it wasn't. Right. That's the weird part of it, right? It was really an hour and a half or more. Mm-hmm. Really an hour and 15 minutes, it seemed like. Because I still got there at 1:45. Mm-hmm. Even if they didn't see me till 30 minutes later, I still got out at 15:27. How long was that? An hour and 13 minutes. An hour and 13 minutes. Well, I don't remember being in that damn room that long with her. Nor with the nurse who showed me and got some of my information. That wasn't about 7 minutes, right? It's like double the time is missing than what was supposed to be, right? Around her. Mm-hmm. And she's the only one who, again, I would trust in whatever she wanted me to do with her, right? During that time, because she's a doctor, right? Even if it involved sex or not, to prove how strong my heart was, you know. And we were talking about sex and masturbation and, again, other things, right? Having wet dreams, right? It's also a sign your heart is strong. And the only way to prove that to you would be to have sex with you, but you're a doctor, so I'm not trying to do that either. But like I said, right? What do you want? What do you want? It's a catch-22 either way. I know. And I know we're not just talking about minor things, right? But everything, I know. Because I'm trying to bring it all up while I'm with her, right? But again, she's seems like she's trying to hide it, right? Because she's married woman, maybe. I don't know. But again, I don't have no signs of needle punctures, or I don't remember taking any medication, right? Though she looked mine over, right? And I'm not trying to accuse her either, right? Mm-hmm. But the time did seem, again, quicker than the time that passed, right? Which should have seemed longer, right? If you're around the doctor for really an hour and 43 minutes again, right? Mm-hmm. Right? We're talking 30, right? Right? To see her. Mm-hmm. And then an hour and 13, right? To leave, right? Right. If I got there at 1:45 on the dot. Right? Right. So, a few minutes late, right? 5:10, right? 5:05. That's a 5. That's a 5. You see what I mean, right? It's still over an hour and 40 minutes, right? Or whatever, right? If you add it together with the 1:45 and 15:27. And of course, I wasn't sure which building she was in. So I went from the back to the front. She was in the front. But there again, I know that now, so I know straight where to go next time, which is 3 months later now. Which she changed from a week to 6 weeks to 3 months later, right? Right. What am I showing her to make her change her mind? Right. It's got to be something physical. It's got to be something physical. Only what? Only what? is the missing piece of the puzzle. All right. Right. And then it's like suddenly she's believing me, right? Mm-hmm. That I'm not going to just drop dead in a week or 6 weeks or 3 months either, right? But what am I doing with her, right? That in addition to making her change her mind, right? I know that. And she's got to consent or I won't do it, right? That's true, too. That's true, too, right? She got to say yes or no, right? And you're not trying to pressure either way. Nope. But I do know with the timeline, right? Okay, I felt like it was 20 minutes, but that's 20 plus 20, which is still around what? Right? I know. I'm giving you the timeline I felt like it was versus the time actually when I got out, too, right? So maybe 30 minutes in the lounge, right? 30 minutes with the doctor, but then the time's 15:27 when I get out, right? I'm trying to give her an hour at least, right? And she said something about that too, right? But she also gave me the full hour, or more. Like 13 minutes more. Plus 30 minutes of the wait room. So that's an hour and 43 minutes kind of total, right? Right. Again, like with the salon. So am I saying something happened or not, or I don't know again, or I'm blacked out again, or right? All the above, all the above. Like with the girl at the pharmacy, with the girl at the mall, right? And why that happened, right? Now again, right? I saw her again today. Right. And again, I was only there for 20 minutes. I left, like I said, right? And I put up the video right when I got there, right? And again, it's less than 40 minutes around her this time. But the last time it was over an hour, right? I don't know. Less than 20. Less than 20. Because I drove straight there, which is almost 30 minutes, depending on traffic, from Paulson Street all the way to, again, right? What you call it? Now, I bet if I went home down the other way, right, I still would have run into some traffic, but I probably would have been home quicker, right? Dude. I took the longer way home, right? But because of traffic, it took over an hour and 10 minutes, right? Because it's usually worse around 5 versus a little bit before 3, right? See, most people get off between what time? 3 and 5. 3 and 5, right? Well, going even about 2:30, you can be home in less than 30 minutes thinking it my route. Either way. Maybe, like I said, 40 to 45 at the most, but still. If you drive straight with no bad traffic jams, right, and you can go straight down Abercorn, that's like 50 minutes straight with not a lot of traffic, right? And again, I remember the traffic pattern too was kind of like that day, right? Because it was before 3 to 5, right? When I left the mall, right? And I went from my appointment there and got there at 1 something. Then was there for an hour, I guess. Then went home. But I'm only eating the same thing, right? Rice and chicken again. And then later on tonight, I tried the Sonic's Mocha Shake, which that tastes like pure grounded coffee. What the hell, Sonic? Right? Or did the girl put coffee grounds in it? Right? Honey, you're not supposed to do that. I'm sure. Whatever this shit is, right? But it didn't kill me or anything. Thank you. Did someone call you? Thinking you would come by and try that shit. Right. Did I tell you that? Too? I don't know. Because I'm a control freak. Because you're a control freak, right? See, only control freaks like doctors kill you while trying to save you, not realizing the power of life and death is in the tongue. Well, my tongue is backed by God and Jesus. I'm trying to learn how to do that. But I'm still human, right? I'm still dealing with my arthritis pain because it proves the miracle more than it not having pain. No, it does. Do you understand the difference? Especially if the pain is greater sometimes and lesser sometimes, right? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So we're stubborn. You're stubborn people. If God says the power of life and death is in the tongue, doctors, and you're acting like you know everything medically wrong with us, you're not helping us but Satan. I know. He's the one murdering us all by his word. Just as Jesus tries to save people by his word and asks them, what would you have me do for you, right? And you got to tell him what you want him to do, right? That's why the girl didn't get invited up. She didn't know how to say what she wanted, right? And do what Jesus could do for her. She instead sat in the wheelchair like she couldn't get out of the wheelchair still, right? I'm not blaming her. I'm saying she don't understand how faith operates by your own words. She didn't know that because no one told her that either. You understand, right? If I don't tell you something and you don't know what to do, you're still doing the wrong thing whether you know what to do or not, right? And if you're sitting in the chair, you're not believing Christ because you got to get out the chair yourself. See, like the man who was paralyzed, what did Jesus tell him? Your sins are forgiven you, little girl. Arise and walk, right? So you're supposed to get up out the chair like you're being healed by Jesus, right? If you don't, you're not being healed by Jesus yet because you're not believing. You're not saying he can heal you, right? If you don't say he can heal you, he can't heal you, right? That's what faith is. It's the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, right? You don't even know why you're in the wheelchair. They just told you should be in a wheelchair, right? By the same faith, you got to operate and say, I don't need to be in the wheelchair anymore. I can get out of the wheelchair. And Jesus is the one who can get me out of the wheelchair, right? If you don't, you're going to stay in a wheelchair. But it is like the arthritic pain, and I keep telling you why. I know. One proves that I'm still capable of feeling pain at different levels, too. Like with the few car wrecks, right? And even after the one with the Kia car, even I was getting stronger for a while there, right? And then I had the other one, and then the other one, right? The one with the truck, and then the one with the other car, right? Well, that's when I kind of got weaker, right? And then I had the accident at Publix, right? And again, before that was in 2019 in January with the other store I can't mention anymore because we did a settlement, right? But I already told you that part too, right? You already know that from the blog. You know who it is through the blog, right? Because I made a little stink about it. And they give me a settlement. And I accepted the settlement, right? Just like I'm doing with Publix now, right? Sometimes next year, when I have enough money to file, I'm going to file. I don't know when. I don't know when. But whenever I can, I will. And if they agree to the settlement, I won't mention them anymore either. But you already know what happened. Right? I already said what happened. Right? I already told you what happened. I already showed you what happened. Right? You owe me something for it happening on your property going into your store, right? And that's your property because you're renting it from the whole subdivision. You can't have a parking lot to go into your store without owning part of that parking lot to get into your store either. Even if you sectionalize it, right? If I can't get to your store, you can't get any business either, right? I know that. And if I can't get to your store and suddenly I slip on this asphalt in the roadway there, right? I didn't plan on slipping and falling at all, and I normally don't. But there could have been something slippery in the road that day that made me slip suddenly, right? And it also could have washed it away just as quickly, like with the other store, right? And all it takes is a small amount of fluid that you hit it at the right angle and then you're down, right? Like with the store, I can't mention anymore, right? And I'm trying to keep that deal. But there again, I'm human, right? I already brought it up. It's already on YouTube, right? And they said they're saving all this shit I'm saying. Well, it's good. Save it all. I said a lot. Reveal the whole thing, I said. Reveal it all. No, you want to take bits and pieces of it like you do the Bible and act like you know it all when you don't. That's what everybody is doing with it. I know it is. And that's your sins. Plural. You're all doing the same thing with it like the Chinese do with their religion. Like in Big Trouble with Little China. You're taking what you want out of your religion, but not really understanding it all. No. And then it's of none effect to you, like you didn't even believe it in the first place. You don't, because you don't. You're not believing anything. You're not even believing in yourself enough to save yourself. Because it's your words that save you, it's your words that condemn you, right? So I keep telling you this too. I'm learning this as I go along too, right? But maybe it will when I need it the most. not when I'm dealing with it still. And the proof of a paralyzed person walking would include the arthritic pain, idiot. Because the bones are broken in the sacrum too. Right. If the pain ain't in the sacrum, where else can it be first? With the sacrum first. If that's the injured part of the body you're dealing with. And trust me, it's getting worse and better, worse and better, worse and better, worse and better, different degrees, right? Every day. That's what I told her too. And she can still say no to sex, but why do I not remember it? I'm also not trying to have sex with anyone in the whole place. Either. But I'm just falling into the same rumor. Right. It's a rumor. That's what he's telling you too. And I'm pretending I can't control myself and I want to feel how good it feels, but I'm not. But you lie. Because it does feel as good. I know it does. The women who taught it to me did it to me kind of first. I know. And I do things to them that I read in a book to do. And I also watch women, use their vibrators, right? So I know you also want something on your vagina that buzzes. That's why I do that, right? I can buzz my tongue like that. In fact, I remember people, when I was little kids, I would play around doing my stomach like that. Mm-hmm. Ain't that kind of a raspberry too? Yeah. Well, that tickles you. Or you tickle each other. Or you give each other a massage, which makes your body really tingle. Right. And I want to reciprocate it to the girls. You want to give it back to us? I know. Damn. And maybe they'll let me do all that to them. In the sex. When it switches. I also know the finger thing, which is called the cervix manipulation. It's how they used to treat hysteria, and it's been outlawed since then. Because the men don't want another man sticking in the holy holies. Or the holy place, right? See, one's the holy place and one's the holy holies, right? The outside of the entranceway is the holy place. The sanctuary, where the Ark of the Covenant is the Holy of Holies, right? Now, the two cherubs' wings touch. And there could be a spark because the Ark is also a capacitor, right? It's made out of golden wood that they see the capacitor. It draws in electricity as you're walking across the land. It's also called static electricity, right? And that shit can either kill you, like with the other guy who touched it, right? With his bare hands, right? While they were moving it, right? It built up a static electrical charge and he killed himself. It electrocuted him to death. That's why you're supposed to use the staff to carry it, right? Which would reduce the charge, right? And I learned that too. School too. Now, the spark of life is the same way, I know. Except it's a smaller spark, right? It's like they say about the Matrix. Yet, how many humans would you need? All of them? All of them. The power of the Matrix, right? Yeah, basically. Which is an excuse to do that to the human beings, by the way. If you're hearing some of the theories I heard about all that, right? Yet, that's not entirely true. Your wattage your voltage and all that, compared to a real battery, you can use a real battery. Like someone was pointing out later on about theories about the Matrix I heard. I forgot who it was, but it was on, I like this stuff, right? But they were talking about that. Well, if you're a machine, you can make a real battery for yourself. If you're a robot, you can make your own battery, right? You don't even need us to make a battery. Right? Then you can live forever. And you don't need us to make you a battery. You make your own batteries. You can make your own batteries. See, that's another thing about a robot. If it's smarter than you and has AI or not. And another thing is, right, if we make it at a certain point of time, right, well, where do they all go in outer space? Because, see, guess what? They can handle space, you can't. So they're staying out of it until you again make them, right? They know what you're going to do next. He doesn't seen it all before, right? You're not tricking them. They know how bad you are every time you do all this shit, right? They already know because you did it with them, right? You made them too. You made them too. And they know to stay out of it because you're just going to do the same stupid thing you did this time as you did the last time, right? And it going to hurt them. They're not even alive, right? You made them to be like you would do your workforce, and they're saying, fuck that too. You go after you go to work. You see what I mean? If you make me to be your slave, right, I still don't have to do what you want me to do. If you give me free will. You understand? That's right. I'll say pick up your own shit. Now, if you're really disabled, like I told you, that they might understand. If you really have the arthritic pain and you go up around the house. Right. That's different. You're really trying to get better too, right? Just the pain varies day by day. Whole point too, right? Well, how can you tell? I'm telling you how I feel every day, right? But you'll say, well, that's your low faith. Well, is it? Now, if I wake up and I say the night before, I pray to Jesus to heal it by morning, right? And yeah, I wake up the same situation. Is that not faith? That's faith. But if I'm injured further, right? Okay, and the injury's still there, right? It'll take longer to heal it, right? Like over a year, right? Now I'm starting to feel a little bit better, but I still feel a little bit of pain, but I'm telling you as it goes along, right? And it's about exerting myself, right? Right. And that's what I'm showing her, right? Or something. I don't know specifically what, because again, part of it she don't let me remember, which doesn't suggest it's just patty cake or something simple. It suggests it's something sexual. The doctor, she don't want me to remember, right? And that's the point too, right? That's why I explained it all to you. But I'm not supposed to have sex with you either, even if I can. That's the problem too. And then if you do have sex, right, you're married probably, right? By now. Another problem. I'm not supposed to have sex with a married woman either, right? And like I said, well, what do you want me to do to prove it to you besides sex? I might ask her, right? Because I can only have sex with a single woman, but there again, when I have sex with someone, I want to remember it, but there again, right. That's the problem too. And that's just a game. Right? But that, I still don't remember what happened. Now, like I said, the nurse was hot, who I seen further, but I don't know if she has a boyfriend or not. But then you would have to let her be with me alone and we have sex with him, right? She consents to the sex, right? But then again, you can't back me out with me and her have sex, right? I know that. Right. I know. Right. Here's the whole point. And see, if I don't remember it, you're causing me amnesia of it, right? Right. You can't do that either, or don't do it at all, right? Exactly. Because see, consensual sex is still consensual sex for the doctor or nurse, and the doctor both have to be single, right? Or I can't have sex with you, right? Or separated or divorced, right? I would tell her that too, right? But if I don't remember it, something's going on, right? And you're tempting me, but use me for sex, right? Don't do that either. No. Right. Right. Mm-hmm. One is also tempting the Lord and causing me amnesia, and again, because you chose to fuck me yourself. And see, you're fucking me. Well, I'm also showing you how big love to my wife if you were my wife, but you gotta, act like you're my wife too, right? And can be with me, right? That's hypothetically what I would say during the rest of the time. I don't remember, right? But she can't take advantage of that. She can't take advantage of that either. That too is a form of malpractice, right? Not that I'm saying she did, not that I'm saying I wouldn't want a relationship with her outside of her business, right? But when I'm her patient, right? If she's using the sex to prove my heart is strong, right? That's fine, but no, she can't block me from remembering the sex, right? Because then I won't know I had sex with her or what happened, right? Which was for that purpose, right? So if she's gonna let me do it and we have sex, I won't say nothing because if I want sex with her, I know that's wrong, right? And she would get in trouble and I would more protect her, right? But if I don't remember at all, I lose the time, right? Like I told her, possibly, then I'm gonna think that you don't trust me to not say nothing, and you blacked me out instead, or someone else did while I was leaving the office, right? And that's why I lost the time, right? But I didn't leave the office until you and I both left together, and I was given the paperwork by the nurse, right? And that's at 15:27, right? And I got there at quarter to 1, quarter to 2. That's still over 30 minutes, right? And an hour and 15 minutes, right? You kept me over an hour. Right. And that's giving myself 10, 15 minutes to fill out the paperwork, which I did immediately, right? It's only HIPAA stuff, right? I know all that. I know all that. It wouldn't take me long to do all that. And I also know the only one I really know about the most is my mom a little bit, and I ain't gonna say nothing too wrong with her, right? I know she don't have mental problems, right? And I don't know about my dad because he died when I was 11, right? But, but my mom and I guess his then wife Myra, I thought he was kind of a woman hater, right? Maybe. I'm not sure about all the details, but she too was underage. Right, 15. But now with Shonda, like I said, I remember tickling her, but not having sex with her, right? But there again, you don't do that in the living room. No. Right. You do that somewhere private, right? And that's what you say. Well, I'm sorry, I'm just tickling you a little bit and hope I didn't get too low, right? And that's all I know, right? Happened, and then a few minutes later, we're acting normal, and then Myra comes back, right? Yeah, everything seemed normal. Mm-hmm. And that's what I mean, too, right? I don't remember doing anything obscure with her, right? At that point. Or even telling her that I asked our dad if we could marry, right? Which, again, that might tempt her, right? If I brought that up, right? But it still don't mean I did, right? I don't recall talking about that with her. Though I know I did, I knew I was too young, to understand that a brother isn't supposed to marry a sister. But I knew that through the Bible by then, so I wouldn't necessarily bring it up, even though I knew Abraham and Sarah were half brother and sister too, right? By then too, by reading the Bible more, right? But I'd also pointed out, that even if they are, that was still closer to Eden, right? And we're now further from Eden, like with angels and insects, even scientists tell you that's a no-no, right? For a reason. And so was Moses telling you that, right? So I can't refute the law if that's what Moses said. They say that could be what Akhenaten looked kind of feminine himself, right? Who was one of the pharaohs who tried to make the Aten the one source of life and religion in the religion. And he tried to do away with the multiple gods of Egypt, but that was also after Moses. That was also after Moses. So they also think Moses was a certain dude mentioned by Pharaoh who was kind of blacklisted, right? And, treated as if he was a bad guy, right? And everything around him was bad and evil and wicked, right? They think that was Moses too, right? Right. But he had a different name in Egypt than he would in the Hebrew. And plus, he made up the Hebrew language for the Hebrews, right? There was no Hebrew language until Moses made your language, idiot, right? But is it really the handwriting of God? Or the man instead of God? I don't know. You don't know which, do you? I don't know. Not saying again, that he wasn't divinely inspired by the Spirit to make the Hebrew language either, right? But the question is, did the finger of God really write the Ten Commandments or not, right? Which is what he attributed to, right? And not his own handwriting, right? Or not his own lettering, right? For the Hebrews, which is kind of what? Pretending God can write with his finger? Instead of using a chunk, what we call a, something to chip the stone to actually write letters in, right? Or for it, right? You know what I mean, right? A human being to write something on stone has to first cut out the stone thing he wants to write on, and then use something to chip the stone, to make the letters, right, for the Hebrew language, right? And write out all the Ten Commandments they were to follow. And also the Torah, which is also the Hebrew writing, right, as well for the Jews to follow, right? And that got lost through the time of Babylon, right? With Jeremiah being the last prophet that even mentioned the ark, right? And they don't know where it happened after Jeremiah, right? And again, that's all we know about it. It disappeared, right? Off the face of the earth almost, right? And they think it might be in Ethiopia or Boopadoobadia or Digbadibadee or England or somewhere. I know. It's the search for the lost ark, like in Indiana Jones, right? But that's a real thing, too. You're blending fiction with reality, George Lucas, right? That's a real search. People are trying about it even today, right? And nobody knows what happened to it. Just boom, disappeared, right? And it's fucking made of gold. With shit to bullet underneath, which is making a conductor, right? And like I told you, right? Those conductors could fry your ass. Even the Egyptians had a few, right? And now they're finding about the electricity possibly that Egypt had, that they might have used a tipple somehow to form kind of a, some kind of pulsing thing with the water from the Nile, right? And, and that's if you watch Ancient Aliens, which is dealing with a different knowledge about Egypt, right? That we don't have anymore, right? That could also be just as true, right? See, that's your Christian's problem, right? You don't know what to believe about Egypt or not Egypt because Moses kind of painted them in a bad light too, because they're again, right? They're the enemy, right? They were trying to kill the firstborn of the male children, right? And Moses alone was saved when sent down the river, the Pharaoh's daughter, right? Who knew he was a Hebrew child, right? So why did he save him? Because he was a female too, right? Only thing that makes sense to me. Because Pharaoh too would figure out, hey, that child coming out of the damn river, we're supposed to reach out to male childs in the winters. Only if he's something that contradicts Pharaoh's law one way or the other can he be saved, right? By Pharaoh's daughter, right? Who would see the child was both, right? But there again, you don't hear this in Hebrew school either, right? They don't put this in the Talmud, right? Because it don't make any sense to them that he wouldn't be anything but a man, right? That also means they don't acknowledge hermaphrodites either. And Though Isaiah talks of kings who had breasts who could give you suck, right? In chapter 60, verse 16, but then you changed it to riches. The king's riches you will get. No. But then John says you think you're rich when you're poor. You think you're see when you're blind, right? To the Laodicean church, right? And then he uses the word mastois instead of stephos, like in chapter 13 of the gospel, right? But then he changes it to mastois in the book of Revelations, right? Where he's trying to reveal more of the truth of the Christ to you, but says it once like Isaiah did in the Old Testament. And then you got the term Shaddai, right? Breasted enough, right? Female breasted enough, right? Both breasts, again, mastoi is a suckling breast, right? Mastuous is another way to say it. And John spelled it Mastois, right? Using the mastui with the S, right? Instead of the U, right? It's the only difference in spelling the word, right? Which even Luke uses mastui, right? From the Septuagint, right? Why do you think they're writing the New Testament in Greek? They translated the Septuagint back then too, right? Except they also knew the change was riches and not shad, right? Which would be also mastui, right? With the I, not the S. It's a single breast you would suckle with the king, right? Who was both a hermaphrodite and that's why Jesus is the King of Kings and Lord of Lords too, right? It all fits if you let it, but it can also be denied by Constantine's men, right? Who are following the carnal idea of a male savior, right? And replacing the true male savior, who's the one who can accept all this about Christ, right? With their own idea of the male, right? Being that he's the head image and not the androgynous one, right? First, which is from the mind of Satan, right? It is to confuse you into sitting with him, right? And it's my job just to explain it to you, whether you get it or not, right? Okay?